All right, we'll get started. So the topic is going to be, we're going to a couple of clips on travels real quick, just to kind of go over what Jen went over. Last meeting was awesome. I really enjoyed listening to her. And then we're going to continue to talk on atypical plays. I think we could have gone another hour and a half easily with Jen last week. So I thought we had some good momentum. So I wanted to continue to do that. Okay, I'm going to mute everybody real quick. All right. Participants. So we'll go through a few travel plays and then we'll get into some atypical stuff. I did find some clips from our games during the season, which was good because I know we had some NCAA stuff. It's all basketball, but we can definitely talk strictly high school this evening. All right, so here. All right. Hold on, I'm gonna change something real quick because I still hear some people. Okay, everybody. I hope everybody can see my screen. Okay. All right. Take this off. Okay, we'll go a couple times. Okay, so this is the first. I just want to give some context. This is the first play of the game, 7:23. Actually, White went down, missed, and then Black came back. So it's Black's first possession of the game to start. I wanted to bring this up because, one, I am personally so bad at perimeter travels that this will help me and I'll hopefully help other people. But I just wanted to go over the play, and then we'll get into some positioning and whose play it is and all that stuff. So I'm gonna open it up. You know, one, is it a travel? Is it not a travel? Who's primary? I'll go through it slow, a little slower. Hopefully it's not glitching too much. I'm able to change, kind of optimize my screen, which kind of helps. So we got boom, where we going? Okay. Anybody want to take it? Anyone want to take this clip?
Come on, Kenny.
I don't need to hear from Kenny. Somebody else. Not Reggie, not Marshall, no one like that. Anybody. Just, do we have a travel?
I would say that's not a travel because he gathered on his left foot, stepped with his right, and then released the ball.
Okay. So you got a 1-2, no travel. Okay. Anybody got anything different? I'll keep playing it. Anybody have a travel in this play?
Hey, Mark. This is Mark Strong.
Hey, Mark.
I mean, and looking at, looks like he stops his dribble on his right foot.
Okay.
Then he takes a step with his left foot. So his right foot is his pivot foot, but then he picks up the pivot foot and bring it back to the court again. So
okay.
to me, that I would consider that as a travel.
Okay. All right. So we've got, just let's say we got 50-50 on it. All right. Here's what I see on this play, right? So we talk about positioning is we had a rotation. All right. So let's go run it all the way back. Here's something that we do quite a lot as a chapter, because again, I watch a lot of our game film. So we have a rotation. Okay. What happens is if we watch our new trail old center, just watch our trail. When the pass goes here, they immediately start doing what? Backing out. And we talked about it every Zoom meeting. It's okay to have two centers. There was no reason for this referee to continue to back out. When we back out of plays, obviously that we're reluctant to blow a whistle on it, and we're making ourselves more disconnected. So he's immediately walking away from the play. That's number one. That's the first thing that I see on this. All right. My question to you is though, and I would love what Jen said. This is why I picked this play. We have to understand the status of the basketball on travels to know when they gather, right? When they establish their pivot foot. So Trail takes himself out of the play, but doesn't have a great look on the basketball. Who has the best look on the status of the basketball and way we establish a pivot foot?
Center.
See, Agreed, right? Right. So she talked about goes away, stays away, right? Okay. Now, again, I still think trail can be more connected on this. But let's talk about footwork. So when does this kid establish his pivot foot? It's hard to tell, but I've seen this a couple of times. It's right there when he picks it up. So you can see it. That's his right foot. Okay. So he picks it up. If he had to come down left and shot off that foot, we'd have a legal play, right? If he would just alight and go off that foot. There's that second one. Pop, pop. Then we would have a travel on this play. This is the first play of the game. Anybody else want to add to it? There's lots going in. I'm just kind of dropping some stuff for people to think about and talk about.
Sounds like you're getting that. We want to catch something like this right off the bat so that we set the tempo for the game.
Agreed.
Let's correct some things that's happening in this video, though, Mark.
Okay.
Do me a favor. Go to the first pass. Keep going until that player makes a pivot to pass back up high. Okay. Now, that's a travel.
You talking about on the initial one right here?
That player right there travel. You see it?
Well, I can't see the basketball, so I don't see it.
His right foot is his pivot foot, and he plants and he slides. Okay, that's a travel. He passes it back.
Does he have the ball in his? Does he have the ball in his hand? How
I can't. Yeah, he's still dribbling, Reggie. Look, you'll see when he slides. Look, the ball comes. It's still right there.
You can't see status of ball.
The ball drops right there. You see the ball drop right there?
Gotcha.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. No, I just
I'm good. I'm good. Okay, now let's go to the trail. The trail has to stop. We gotta stop bailing out. Even though there's a rotation, okay, the trail needs to figure out when he needs to stop worrying about the next play as far as going down the court. He has to stop 2 steps before he just stops. He has to stop and start refereeing. That's his play. So he has to stop and referee that play. We in San Antonio, we are in a rush to get high at trail in the middle of a rotation. And I'm looking at what Aaron's is saying. And we need to stop trying to bail out to save our legs. We need to referee the play that's in front of us.
Hey, Mark, good evening. Good evening, SABOA. Question, that pick on that pass, the big man gets there and then his left foot, can you get there, Mark?
Talking about the little flare screen right here? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay, I got you. You're talking 21 on the screen right here?
No, not on that one. On the initial pass that Reggie was talking about, the travel, when he gets there, when the defender's coming, he then takes his left foot and steps. I don't know. What do you think about this? I just jumped on. Sorry.
That right there?
No, keep going. Right here.
Yeah, there's no contact though. I see what you're saying. I don't think he's legal, but I don't see any contact. Let me see. Yeah.
Okay.
I think if 3 runs through him, we may have an illegal screen because he has to avoid him. See how he kind of reroutes him?
Yeah.
But I don't see any contact though. Anybody got anything different?
I hadn't seen I just saw the left foot and I hadn't seen the full of it. That's what I was trying to see. Thank you, Mark.
Got you. Okay. Keep going, Reggie.
If there was contact there, it will be illegal screen.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on this? So to me, my personal opinion is a missed travel when we slow it down. And to Mike's point, I agree. We've got to get these early. We got to be ready to referee from the jump. This is something I'm really working on hard this year is picking up the pivot foot when they establish it, and then these kids are fast too, so it's not the easiest thing. Okay, but yeah, definitely Reggie's point. Trail's disconnected from the play, doesn't help, and we end up with a pop, and then we miss this play, and that's a that's 2 points for Black. This is a close game. Ends up being a 3-point game.
Mark?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, fellas. Yeah, that's the classic plop plop. Whoever that new C was, it opens up to them more than the trail can have.
Agreed.
Hey, Mark, so I have a question.
Yes,
Mark,
there we go.
I got a question. So on that play, it's the beginning of the game. Was this maybe a play that the referees thought it looked funny and they just didn't call it? Or did they just miss it in their conversation?
Yeah, I don't know the conversation. If I don't think Mike or Raphael or Jose is on to answer it. I just think they just missed it. I just think they just, just weren't.
Mark,
Thanks.
let me jump in on that, if you don't mind, and I'll be quiet on the second. Hey,
Go ahead.
hey, Chris, that's a great comment about beginning of the game. Those guys go out, the teams, they warm up for 15, 20 minutes. Their mindset is, they've been there actually 2 hours, ready to play. And a lot of times when we step out on the floor, game jumps on top of us. And this is a play where we set parameters for the game. So if we make this call early, we've established a boundary or a parameter for the team and a credibility thing, where if we make that early and we call it, the credibility of the crew goes up and you've established parameters. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, agreed. Totally agree. Okay, let's get to the next one. I don't want to talk too much on this one. Just one more travel clip, because this is the one that, man, hold on real quick, that we miss. We miss a lot. All right,
Are you
hold
getting
on.
that, Mark? Mark, this is for you. This is for you.
Oh, I know it is.
I know you're working hard on travels, so this is for you. We can't, as officials, we can't have missed travels resulting in scores. That hurts the team that's behind.
Yep.
So if doesn't matter whose primary it's on, if we have a travel and if we have a score, we have to get the travel. I don't care where the travel call comes from.
Agreed. I actually watched this whole game today. Consistently, they were very good. This crew did a good job consistently. I think they let them play a little bit too much, but they were highly consistent. But we missed a lot of travels in this game. I think what we need to do a better job of is in warm-ups, and we've heard this before, is watching our teams, watching kids in warm-ups, watching their footwork, watching what they do, especially when you've got a Brennan Warren. That's 2 kids, got a lot of perimeter players, right, that put the ball on the floor and those type things. So, but again, if these kids are good enough in our city that if we call it early, guess what they do? They will adjust. They will make the adjustments. They know what their pivot foot is. They know what a travel is. But if we allow them to get away with it, I would do the same thing too as a player. We'd be smart about it. All right, next one. Here we go. Let's get into this one, and then we're gonna move into our atypical stuff. So there's lots going on. I don't want to get into it too much. Okay. So here's a kick out. I want you to watch our center's eyes. They go right to the basketball, and this is something I do. I do it all the time. Comes out, I go to the ball instead of going where? To the feet, to check pivot foot, check if they're outside the 3-point line, and then we got to go to the defender. So this is a good clip I wanted to use because it's something that I'm really working hard on, and we all need to. So what happens is they go directly to the basketball and never pick up the pivot foot. So what's the pivot foot? First one that lands, right? So it's right foot. Everybody agrees. So catches it right, left. So right foot is pivot. Didn't catch it on a jump stop like Jen talked about. They've already established their pivot on a 1-2. Now look what the next step is. They play right out of that jab. Okay. And now I'm doing it slow-mo. It's easy, right? When this stuff happens fast, it's easy to miss. All right. So I just wanted to go through it. Eyes go to pivot foot, go to the 3-point line, go to the defender. That's kind of the sequence we want to be doing. All right, here. Pop, pop, boom, gone. Then we have a crash. All right. So we end up coming with an offensive foul. So if we get a travel first, that kind of cleans all this up. They get to play right, they get offensive foul, but we get to travel, then we get the first violation, we're good. Similar like to a first foul. This kid ends up fouling out. Just something to think about, right? Just we don't. I know it's early in the game. This is still the first quarter, but I know player coach would prefer you get the travel than the run over. All right, so just certain things to think about. Anybody want to add to it real quick? I don't want to get on it too much. I'll show it one more time, but that was kind of the purpose on this one. Just establishing, got to find that pivot foot. Boom, we got travel. Anything in the chat? Yep, every possession counts, absolutely. Okay, let's get into the next one. What I need to do on this is I just so y'all can see it better, I've had to go in and then go back out. All right, so here. I got one more clip. I'm sorry. One more. Okay, let me get out of here. Bear with me.
Hey, you said there was a lot of travels that were missed in that game. I was just wondering, were they the same type
Yeah, they
of
were like,
travels?
yes. Split steps, Euro steps, double jab on pivots, a lot of stuff that we see. But again, I tell you, they're highly consistent now. I was pleased with how consistent they were, but yeah, we missed some travels on that one. All right, let me go to this one. Okay. All right, here's one clip I wanted to do. Again, I watched this game all day. Dang it. Hold on, bear with me, sorry. All right, here we go. Kind of weird how it does it. Who do I have to mute back there? Amen? There they are. Phoenix 3. Who is that?
Amen.
It's Doc. It's Doc. Yeah, it's Doc. Doc Harris, my man. All right, so we had talked about this on a previous Zoom player about taunting, okay? So anytime there's like a big play, it could be like you make a kid fall. In this instance, he drops the kid. Our antennas have to go up. So if this happens in a game, a kid crosses up a kid and drops him. Well, that kid's going to be upset. That's number one. So you got to look for retaliation, right? He's got embarrassed, or that kid's going to go and taunt and showboat. Similar things on an and one play, we have a big crash or a kid gets dunked on. Any kind of highlight type play, that's where our antennas need to go up, and we need to go right to our off-ball officiating and not be in a hurry. So I did want to show this clip as far as you'll see what happens. He drops the kid, and then we'll kind of talk through it. So he gets him here, missed travel. We'll go over that later. Drops him. Okay. So we're gonna go again. It is a missed travel because you'll see it. I'll go slow mo in the travel. So again, it's similar one to the other. The ball gets kicked out. We've got to find the pivot foot. Here he goes, catches it on a right, left. Similar footwork. What's his first step? Right there. Plays right out of his right jab. Boom, travel. Okay, so we missed the travel. I'm gonna get past that. Now he makes a kid fall over. Let's watch 10. So I want you to watch the referee's eyes when this happens. Let's watch trail and center and see if a referee goes to 10 to see if we've got anything going on. To Reggie's point earlier, this is what we do. We want to take off. Boom, we got to go. All right. Still need to stay. Don't need to just turn our head and go. Center does do a good job. I watch center. He scans and looks for 10. Does a really, really good job of understanding what happened. If you watch center, watch his eyes. Goes right to him. Now, this is one where he's kind of clapping, whatever, this and this. It's nothing crazy, but that's a conversation we want to have later when we get a chance to go see number 10. Hey, number 10, great shot, nice move. We don't need you clapping, doing all that stuff after you got me, those type things. And then that typically cleans it up. It doesn't warrant a technical foul. He's not going to his face, but it is clapping. It's something that needs to be definitely addressed. I don't know if our center referee did do that or there was a conversation. Just something to think about, all right? Add to it real quick, and then we're going to press on.
Mark, address what Lead is doing.
Well, yeah, it's a good point. So here's something I learned at camp. Actually, I learned it from Keith Kimball. So what he said is you don't want to come off the baseline until the ball is crossed, free throw line extended. And I've used it a lot, like telling people and seeing it, like we see it a lot, see how we're already gone. So immediately stepped onto the floor, that's wrong, okay? Now they're even with the play. We need to be trailing the play. It needs to be out of bounds. So something that we should be more consistent on is when this ball crosses free throw line extended, that's when we want to start to make our way onto the floor. I'd never heard it before. I heard it a couple of years ago from Keith. I thought it's really good advice. And I started watching people do it. And that we're so fast to get on the floor. Now we're ahead of it. We're even with it. And then we're not ready to referee. We always say trail means trail. Reggie, you want to add to that?
Actually, it's in the mechanics book.
Okay.
It's in the mechanics.
What, that you don't cross free throw line extended?
Right. You wait for the ball to get free throw line extended before you come on the floor. So that way, if there's a pending steal or a violation or whatever, you have it. So it's been in there for years.
Okay, good. I didn't know that. Okay, good. All right, I got to.
I'd like to see when there's a lot of players after a made basket congregating around the basket during the throw-in, I'd like to see the lead come in closer to the throw-in to have a presence.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, because we've actually, it's a good point. We've got 10 clapping over here. You see, ball goes in, we got clear.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier said than done. Trying to be patient enough to wait for them to get to the foul line extended. Guys, give it a try. It's very difficult.
Yeah, it is. I struggle. I tried it. It's tough. We want to go, you know? Yeah. I didn't know it was in the manual. That's good though. All right, let's get to the next one. Appreciate it. Let's get out of here. Wait, I want to look at the chat real quick. Yep. Okay. All right, next one. Boom. Okay, let's get into atypical plays. Okay. I'll have to share this. It's kind of weird how this stuff does it. Aaron, you may have to help me on this one. It's weird how it's doing it. I changed this optimized screen so it's a lot clearer, but then we're kind of getting into some weird stuff. All right. I'm just going to, it's a minute. It goes for a minute. Okay. So I'm just going to play it one time and then somebody else kind of see what you see, what, you know, things we could do better. There's a lot going on in this from the very beginning to rotations to, we have a score the basket here. We have goaltending play, score it.
That's Reggie's twin brother.
Yeah, it's Reggie. It is Reggie. Then we have a stop. Horn goes, we stop. We're having conversations with players.
And don't be putting that on me.
And then we have.
Hey, Mark.
Yep.
Guys, here's another thing about videos. And we treat it like it's nothing. But if you look at their uniforms, they're illegal.
Oh, yeah. Yep, the undershirts and everything, yep. And we come up with a double foul, okay? So a double foul, and we can get into that. Double foul on a dead ball, well, you know, it's just things to talk about. Then we end up having a switch. We end up just switching. And then we bring the ball back in, and then we end up pressing on from there, okay? So I'll just kind of jump it off, but again, the rotation, ball watching at lead, we know that, right? Here's everything competitive over here. I don't want if we even need a rotation for one, but we've got 4 sets of eyes on 2 players. We need to be over here. I think we can close down, possibly pinch the paint, but I think he's good at close down to stay here because the ball ends up coming right back. So I think that's a rotation we don't need, all right? Then we have a goaltend from the lead. We can get into that, scores it, right? Here's where we talk about this a lot, and I'd like some opinions on this, about not being in a hurry, but we need to get the ball back in play. So when we get the ball back in play, guess what kids get to do? They start to play. Then they get whatever they're doing, dead ball is when we have more problems. When kids are up and down playing, to me, the game flows to the board. Not being in a hurry. We don't want to be putting the ball in. We have 6 players. We got substitutes and all that type stuff. But here, there's no sense of urgency to get the ball back in play when I think we could have. I think I could have eliminated a lot of this stuff going on. So here, we score the basket. Boom. Okay. To me, let's get the ball in play. No urgency. We're walking back, head to the end line, not watching players. We need to get this ball back in play. Ball should have been bounced. We're good. Okay. My personal opinion, this is my opinion. The ball should already be here. Okay. If you deem this a foul, we have a foul. If you feel like he's holding, grabbing, bang, we got a foul. Okay. Center decides not to. We're still waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting. We got the horn going. There's a lot of stuff going on. And then lead decides, you know what? I don't trust my partner with these 2. I now need to involve myself. That's how I look at it. Okay. Center just disappears. All right. I'm going to go over here and talk to the coach. Just leaves these 2 players that obviously are a problem. All right. So I believe center needs to stay there. We're still holding the ball. Don't want to get it back in play. Now we have 4 sets of eyes on 2 players. No idea where our new lead is, and then bam, we come out with a double foul. Okay, Somebody just give me something I may have missed. If you agree with a double foul, things we could have done better in this situation. It's a weird kind of scenario.
How did we come up with a double foul on a dead ball?
Okay, that's something we talked about. So what should we be doing on this? Are we going double tech? Can you go double foul on a dead ball, or do we need to go double tech? Anybody?
Well, if it's dead ball contact or unsportsmanlike behavior, it's a technical foul by rule.
Okay.
Dead.
And you can have a double technical foul.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. And we offset, go right back to with a point of interruption.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with definitely can't be a double foul because the ball is dead because he deemed it dead or killed it. I wouldn't use the word, Mark, that he didn't trust his co-official.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, you're right. I
would say that he feels his co-official is not dealing with those players appropriately, and he felt he needed to step in. So I think we need to stop saying trust. It's hey, I've reached the point that I feel I need to do something, whether he does something or not. And that's what Rick Johnson does on this play.
Let me ask you this. Do you feel he needs to interject in that situation?
I don't know what they're saying to each other from their body language. That's like I said, video has a lot of flaws in it. I don't know what their body language is. I don't know what they're talking about. Evidently, it was enough for him to say, I've had enough. I do agree we could have put the ball back in play. And as far as the rotation earlier, I think close down is fine, but the mechanic says ball side, strong side. So he should have been probably a little bit more patient on his rotation and picked up Trail until Trail knew, okay, I'm coming down to take care of these 4 players at the elbow. He just leaves without T being in the play or connected to the play. But he is mechanically not wrong for going strong side, ball side, but he should have waited. He didn't go A, B, C. He went directly A, C. He never paused that close down, give Trail an opportunity to get into play.
Okay, anybody else?
Hey, I'm just going to say, like, he talks to them. He tells the players enough. He walks away, the other partner comes in. But if I've told the players enough, and as I walk away, they're going back at it again, I'm probably going to stick them too. Whether my other partner's there or not, like I've said, I've been on top of it. I've been dealing with it. I've just told them that, hey, that's enough, stop. And then we walk away and both of them want to be drawing with each other. Like, I'm the one that addressed it originally. I'm the one that's going to stick them. Just me.
Okay, Bob, so you're saying that possibly the C or that one official didn't warn enough for the other 2 partners to know what was going on?
I'm saying I was in CVS and I walked out and I just saw the end where the other partner talked to him. I thought the first time when he's talking to him right now was him addressing it. And so maybe I'm wrong there, but there where he just talked to him, like for me, if that's where I address them, I've talked to them, I've told them to stop, they walk away and they keep on going, I'm going to whack them.
I agree, but not double foul. We got double technical, yes?
Yeah, it's double technical, but the signal for that's still going to be out to the side. I'm going to hit the technical and I'm going to come out to the side with my double foul showing it's a technical on both of them. I mean, isn't that in the
Can I address that?
Yep.
Okay, when you do a double technical, okay, it's not presented as a double foul.
No,
that's not the signal. That's not the signal. You're going to hit a double technical and you're going to point to both players.
Yep.
You don't come out with a double foul. You hit on the floor, you hit the technical, and you point at both players.
And we got one later, Reggie. I got one later. We can show it. You're right. I'm going to show it.
I got you. I'm good with that, Reggie. I'm good with that.
Hey, one more thing, man.
Go ahead, John.
Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Reggie, is it okay for the lead to make that call on the goaltend, or should it be an outside official? I'm going back to the goaltending that started all this.
Yeah, right here, yeah.
It looks better for the C of the Trail to call it, doesn't it, instead of the lead?
Actually, it should be opposite of where the ball went up. It should be the trail because he has the ball. It should be the trail. But so my question is, I can't see. Is it actually a goaltending? I can't see.
That's why we don't want Lee to be making that call. We want it to come mechanically by the book. It comes from the opposite side of where the shot is being taken.
Right. So my question.
Unless he has definite knowledge.
Thank you,
right?
Kenny.
Yeah. He's got it. If he has definite knowledge, you can't go because
Right.
the other two didn't get it.
Don't get stuck on it.
And I think, and he waits. I don't know. I can't see either. I mean, I got a good screen, but I can't tell. But I think he waits a little while to give that signal.
So I'm able to watch him several times. He gets the play right. It is. The ball's on its way down, and he actually ends up making contact with the rim.
Yeah, when I can see that he swings at it or attempts to block it on the way down, but I can't tell if he touches it or not.
Yeah, he grazes the rim. So it's like on the way down, right? The ball's there. It's on the way down, and he slaps and grazes the rim right there with the back of his left hand. So I'm able to put on a big screen and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but an outside official should get that, shouldn't they, initially? I know.
Yeah. But I think it's okay for Lee to get it. To Kenny's point is they have definite knowledge, and I think he's patient. He waits, boom, boom, boom. Oh, let me come get it.
That's my question. Thank you.
Done.
It's obvious to see,
Mechanically, this was handled excellent. He gave the outside officials an opportunity to make the call. They didn't make the call. As Kenny said, he had definite knowledge the ball was hit. It's goaltending. Yes, by system, it should be the outside officials. But if it's that blatant and he has definite knowledge, he has the right to blow. Just like if somebody goes into their second.
I don't have a problem with that, Marshall. I'm just asking the question. That's all.
Yeah, no, and I'm just answering.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's good. Thanks. I like that. I like the explanation. Thank you.
And can I add something else, guys? These guys love the basketball. Every time that ball goes down, somebody goes and picks it up. When we're handling all of this, we don't need to worry about the basketball.
That's true.
Okay, so then good conversation. Just end it on this. They go double technical. Just make sure that we know we're going point interruption, right? We're going to put the ball back on the end line, and they're still going to be able to run the end line. Just so we can end it like that, right? Because if it's late in the ball game, we got to make sure that we are understanding that they still are able to run the baseline on this play. That could be a big difference if you don't allow them to. All right, because the ball, we're going right back to the POI, and that's where we're going to be at. All right, but it should be double.
Mark, can I comment before you transition to the next play, Mark?
Yeah, PJ, go ahead, man.
I'm sorry. Just for everyone, be aware too. The lead's going to get it if this is just a hypothetical scenario. If that player, the defender, goes through the rim, through the net, and his hand goes through the rim, more than likely the outside officials are not going to catch that. So the lead is going to catch that. I know that didn't happen in this situation, but just be aware of those kind of plays because they can sneak up on you as well.
Good point.
One more question on that. On the switch, would we say that it's a good thing on the switch, or for the lead to go back to the position that he was at?
PJ, you can take it.
Okay, what's the question again, Mark? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm asking that he gave the technical and then the C went to lead and lead went to C. Is it good? Would we say the lead to go back, or was it right what he did?
I think he's right. I think he did good. He's just managing the game. You have to understand that this is just a snapshot of what happened in the game. We don't know all of what happened. It's like a movie. Trust me, with these two teams, I've had them many times. There's a lot of crap that went on in this game because a lot of unsportsmanlike conduct and things of that nature that are going on in this game, and I guarantee you that. So this official just got fed up with him. It's like, hey, I'm just going to whack these guys and move forward.
All right, good stuff. Next one, okay. We've talked about this one before, so I don't want to beat it up too much, but I know we've got a lot of new people on that we didn't have. We did this, I think, on our Facebook a year ago. It was maybe 2 years ago. So ain't no secret. That's Chris Coy at center. No big deal. I'm a neutral or lead, and then Malcolm is going to be at trail, going to be new lead on this play. So the purpose of this is to talk about coverage on free throws, which we've talked about a lot on Zoom meetings, and being highly focused on dead ball situations as far as free throws or anything else when in these situations, we have to be understanding our coverages and be highly aware. So we're going to run it twice, and then somebody else talk about coverages on free throws in a 3-person, and we can get in 2-person as well. Either one is fine. We can talk about both, and then we can get into the play. But the first thing I want to know is what are our responsibilities on free throw coverage, all right? Boom. Okay, so that's it, all right? Anybody want to take it?
Can you run it one more time?
Yeah, but I want to hear from you, though. Like anybody, and it's okay if you get it wrong. Like everyone should have an opinion on this because you work ball games. So if I'm a center, I'm here. I need to know what the coverage is. What are your responsibilities?
What you got, Brad?
Who's talking?
Not you, John, because you already know. You got your manual in front of you. You know everything about this. I don't need to hear from you.
Brad Lockhart.
Brad Lockhart. There you go.
Reggie, you mad I won your money golfing?
Okay, so go ahead, Brad. Just Brad, take it. All right, so you go.
On the shot, he's got the free throw shooter, and across the lane, he's got the top 2 guys. Lead has the bottom block guy and the guys on the opposite lane line for the lane violations. And once the shot goes up and you determine that no one's violated on the lane, then she needs to transition and referee the rebounding on the opposite side.
Okay, I'm trying to do better with mine. Okay, so you're saying center has free throw shooter and the first 2?
Correct.
Okay, and then we're saying that lead has ball side block and then all these 3 over here, right? Correct. Okay, all right. What about, let's go 3-person. What about trail? Wherever, Mac will be over here, but let's just, I think he was talking to the coach at this point. But what does Trail have?
Well, Trail's just there to assist on any. He doesn't have any of the assigned shooters other than the people outside the 3-point line.
Okay.
And the free throw line extended. It's his job to referee those guys coming in earlier.
There you go. All right, good. Got anything different? Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it.
But then after the shot goes up, he's got to transition and referee the rebounding action on his side.
Yep. Okay. That's good. So let's talk about the play. Hold on, let me do this. So what we need to do, right, is ball goes up, we step down, which center does a good job. Stays down, and then we're seeing this a lot more, right, with the box out, the displacement on the shooter. So we want to make sure they're not violating and there's nothing illegal there. All right. We've gone over this play before, so I've seen it. It's a split second. If you watch it's like he barely turns his head and comes back. It's very subtle, okay? And we all do it. But that's what can happen is we don't want to open up our shoulders because that's telling us what? We're ready to take off to all the points that we've talked about. The best thing to do is step down and then step back and your shoulders stay squared to where you were, all right? So just this movement right here is ever so subtle. He opens up instead of stepping down and staying squared. That's when we miss plays. It's just like that. And this happened in a split second. Now, being in the ball game, we had no problems with this kid. And Chris can say that. It came out of nowhere. Boom. I don't know what happened with those 2 kids. He got upset and then wants to act like that. So it can happen at any point. We typically say, oh, something led up to it. They would get nothing in this game led up to this. It was the weirdest thing. Just kind of caught us off guard. All right. So let's talk about, I come in, I know something happened. I'll be honest, it's somewhat of an educated guess because I see like a swing. I don't know if I see contact. I see a kid on the floor. I'm like, you know what? My anxiety, for y'all know that or officiate with me, is way too high all the time. So I immediately come out whack. I just go with a technical foul. All right. Someone tell me what we should have on this play and then the procedure, what we should do, going forward on that. Again, someone different. So what do you have on the play?
Hey, Reggie, Mark, will you go back just a little bit, though?
Sure.
I want to see after the ball, has the guy picked up the ball to inbound it before it was thrown?
It's like almost the same time, Bob. Like it's at his disposal. He's not out of bounds yet, right? But it's at see there's the swing, and then
So
the
it's still
ball
dead.
is
The ball's
yes.
still dead. Okay.
Well, okay, that's another conversation, right? Is it when it's at their disposal? Is it live, or when they take a ball out of bounds? So that's another conversation we'll get into. But good point though. Okay, anybody? I'll give you two options. Do we have a technical foul? Do we have I'm not gonna say ejection because John will kill me, or disqualified player? So do we have a technical foul, or do we go disqualified player on this? Anybody, even coaches on here, anything?
You want to go to the ladies, Mark?
Sure. Hey, let me see. I'm going through my list. So I know Diana's cruising in her Jeep. So yeah, anybody, Becky, both Rebecca, Becky Salter, anybody, Cleo's on here, Mo Sims, anyone. If you have this in your game, what do we have? Or even Mario, and anybody.
This is Mo saying it's a little hard to see. I'm going to look to see if it looked intentional. And you said there were no problems during the whole game. Technical will probably be more appropriate if you definitely saw it. Marvin, no, I had my little fight situation at the very beginning of the season, so he might think I'm sensitive, but I'm not, Marvin, contrary to that belief.
Okay, so Mo, you got a technical in this?
That's the way I would go. It's hard to see in the video, but if I could see that he put a good shot on him, I think that'd be the way to go on that one to clear it all up.
He swings, but doesn't make contact. Okay, so I can kind of help you. I know it's blurry. So he kind of shoves him off, but there's no contact, like hit to the face or a punch hitting. Not saying that changes anything. I'm just giving you some feedback on what actually happened.
Yeah, if I could see that, then if he fell on his own, if I can't see any contact and he made no contact with him.
No, he doesn't fall on his own. He doesn't. He causes him to go to the ground.
Okay. I'd probably go with I probably want to go with a foul there because we're trying to figure out what's going on with the ball. Where's the ball at? So I probably want to go with a straight foul on that one, a regular common foul. Well, because we don't know if the ball is live or not.
Okay.
I think that a technical foul is warranted, and then I think I would talk to my partners and find out if there's any additional information they can give me on the swing or not, because I'm not sure you see, and you, by your own admission, you didn't say that you saw actual contact on the swing, and then that would change everything, and we could elevate what we've called. But I think and not knowing the status of the ball and whether or not you deemed that it was in control of the out of bounder and he was ready to put the ball in play at his disposal, I think a technical foul is where we start.
So Tony, if I'm your co-official and I give you the information that a swing constitutes a fight, then what are we doing?
That's correct. Then we're going to eject him.
Okay.
Anyone else?
That's why I would ask for the additional information.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I was at, Tony, because this is my first time actually seeing the play myself. And
all right, you can't talk, Marshall. I'm muting you. Go. Next person, go. Someone else, go. Come on.
Yes,
Someone.
Mark,
yes.
Mark, if the ball, if they deem the ball is live, the guy's got it at his disposal. You come out. It would be a flagrant personal versus a technical. Correct. I mean, it's a personal foul. You would just call it a flagrant. Then you would eject him. It wouldn't necessarily be a technical because it's not a dead ball. It's a live ball foul.
Okay. There we go. Okay.
Okay, but we have not determined whether it was a dead ball or a live ball. By Mark's, when he described it, he said it was almost simultaneous. So is it a dead ball or a live ball? So that's another thing that I think they need to talk about.
Agreed.
Right.
So
Mark,
here's,
am I allowed to speak?
yeah, hold on, Mike.
Whether
Mike,
if you think it's at his disposal, therefore to be live, then you
Right.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. So
the rule book, right? The rule book says that at the thrower end, at the disposal of the thrower end, correct?
So we're saying that's the question, right? Is it live when it's at the disposal, or is it live when they take the ball out of bounds? So
at the disposal.
Okay. Does everybody agree with that?
I'd chirp in that being at the disposal, one way to determine that is if you've actually started your count. That's easy for us sitting in our lounge chairs right now, but when you stop the video, I think you can see clearly that the player has not squared. He's actually still has one ball coming up right here.
Correct.
Right now, he's still got and obviously you're doing a good job of paying attention to the players, so you haven't started a count. So having said that, I would say that the ball is not at the disposal of the thrower. As a result, this would be a dead ball situation. That's just my
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Okay. So I'll kind of. Mike, go ahead. Mike Daniels, go. I know you want to say something. My bad. Go ahead.
No, it's good. You guys covered it. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Mark, I gotta correct that. I gotta correct with is it Jeff?
Yes.
What Jeff just said. Okay. Being at the disposal, okay, after a shot does not constitute a count. Okay. Being at the disposal is live. Once he takes the ball out of bounds after a shot, then you can start your count. But the ball is live as soon as the ball is in its disposal. The count has nothing to do with it. Okay. Now, if we're coming out of a timeout or something to that effect, yes. When I do the count or I'm giving the ball, making the ball available to the player, yes. Now we got something different. But after a score, okay, the ball is if he has the ball, he has disposal.
Okay, hey, I'm going to go to the rules real quick. I'm going to go to the rule real quick.
I was trying to find it.
So 442 is in definitions. It's throw in, thrower, designated spot.
That's right.
Article 442,
Right.
Article 4 or Article 3. The throw in and the throw in count begins when the ball is at the disposal of a player of the team entitled to it. So if you're telling me it's at the disposal when they're inbounds, they picked up the ball, they were still inbounds, they have not gotten out of bounds, by this definition, you must start your count. But
if you see Mark, he's starting he's going to the count.
They have to be out of bounds for it to be considered at the disposal. So the ball is live when it's at the disposal, but it's not live when it's in bounds, not at the disposal yet.
And Bob is correct. Just like any other time, ball is at the disposal when you hand it to them. You don't start anything until that point. So they have to be out of bounds and ready to pass the ball in play. As soon as they establish that, you start your count. Now the ball's at the disposal. Because otherwise, it may be live, it's not at the disposal of the thrower when he's standing in bounds because he can't throw the ball in play from inbounds.
Mark, am I allowed to say
That's
anything?
right.
Yeah, Marshall, go ahead.
Okay. The count can start when the ball is at the disposal. All you have to do is think about plays at the end of the game. When the player is trying to run the clock out and there's 10 seconds left and he lets the ball just bounce around by itself, you by right have the right to start the count because the ball is at the disposal. It does not mean he has to have the ball for you to start the count. The ball is at his disposal when he has the ability to go get it and take it out. And you have the right.
You're right, Marshall, but you're splitting. Like, this kid's actually trying to take the ball out. Like, really, when we would start the count here, the ball would be considered at the disposal. In this case here, when he is actually out of bounds and he starts the process of trying to throw the ball in.
And that's what
not when he picked it up in bounds. Yes. And so, therefore, it's dead.
Agreed. All right, we beat that up. Yeah, that's correct. That's it. Absolutely, right? So, Jeff, thank you. I agree. I was trying to find it, and Bob, thank you. You're way faster getting to me. So, yes, that's it. By rule, that is correct. So, in this situation, it's dead, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you how we adjudicated it, and then you guys can chime in if you think we did it right or wrong. I have a technical foul. That's all I have. I didn't know exactly what happened. I wasn't 100% sure if that was a punch or it was just a takedown. but it was enough for me to go technical. So I went to technical, okay? We ended up clearing the kids to benches, okay? We had a conversation at half court, and Mac asked me, the first thing he said is, do you have a punch? So first thing he said, he goes, do you have a punch? I said, no, I don't, Mac. He said, I do. He goes, that kid swung, he didn't make contact, he threw a punch. I looked at him, I said, okay. He goes, I'm 100% sure. I said, all right. I said, so what are we doing? He goes, we're going to upgrade it, and he's gone. We have a flagrant foul, fighting, he's gone. I said, okay. So then I went and reported it, and I allowed Mac to go tell Coach Keller exactly what happened. That's the way that we did it. Now, he didn't like it at all. He sent us this clip that night, and he still didn't agree with it. When I first saw the clip, because again, I'm on the backside, I was like, I called Mac immediately. It was like, thank you. This is clearly a swing. Didn't make contact, right? It's saying when kids just, if they square up, it's fighting. It doesn't have to be contact. You don't have to throw punches. If you just deem it to be a fight, they're gone. So I truly believe when I looked at this again, that night, that we did it correct by the rule, and it's dead, and we have a flagrant, and that person is gone. We shot 2 shots, ball at the division line. That's how we handled it. Anybody else got anything different on this play that we should have done differently?
Hey, Mark. So I just want to comment. You know, I did learn a lot from this play. You know, I stay engaged. As you can see, I do turn. So I have players in the way. Obviously, if I would have been there, I probably would have caught something. But as I turn, I just see a player fall, and that's what caught my eye, right? But again, I really learned a lot from this, staying engaged and being ready to referee.
Yeah, and it is, right? We all learn from this, right? Thanks, Chris. We have to be highly focused on free throws and many throughout the game. But this is something that we're not really consistent about, and we kind of just, lose focus. So we need to be highly engaged on these type of plays, because you never know. Again, this just came out of nowhere. It was kind of random on that, all right? All right, let's move on to the next one, all right? Okay, we got more people coming in. Good.
Hey, I had a quick question about that one, though. So what is the difference if the ball was dead or live on that play?
I guess if you wanted to go technical or intentional, right? If we're not having a flagrant on this, right, and we're just going to go either common, intentional, or technical, would that make a difference if we'd go intentional or technical? If it was dead, it would be technical. If it was live, would it be intentional?
Only if it was common. I think that would be the only difference.
Yeah, one becomes a flagrant 2, the other one becomes dead ball technical ejection. The flagrant 2 is when the ball is live.
Flagrant 2?
The key.
We don't have flagrant 2 in high school.
Yeah, high school. My bad. I went college on you. My bad. I don't think it makes a difference, to be honest. Not in high school.
It would change where you put the ball in play.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
That's correct. That's the difference.
If we're going, because I'm
it
looking
also
at it as
changes who can shoot the free throw.
yes.
If the ball is live, you go back to the spot. Flagrant 2 ejection.
And the kid that got fouled has to shoot compared to
right.
well, anybody can shoot.
Yes.
As opposed to
Yes. That's good.
Sorry about the mission.
Marshall, you have to stop with that flagrant 2 stuff.
It's in my head, man. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
All right. Oh boy, let's see if we remember this one. Happens quick. Okay. So remember this one. I don't want to go into too much, but again, we've got new people in here. We went over this at the factory. Right, that's the action right here. We want everybody to watch this kid right here. These 2 players right here. Watch that. Bam. All right. So our referee has given 2. We know we don't have to do that. We'll get into that later, right? So we have a ejection. Then we got all kinds of stuff going on after this. Coaches on the floor, right? So I'm gonna say one thing and then open it up, right? We'll still keep watching it. This is where we have to slow down on these type of things. The anxiety of our referee right here is very high, right? You can see they're upset. This. You can just see, right, the whole. And trust me, we all do it. We get frustrated. our anxiety gets really high, and we just need to slow down. The way that we do this, we pregame this all the time, is your partner has to grab you. If you have a technical foul, you have this. I mean, we're about to go shoot free throws at the wrong basket. See, we got a lot of things going on. All right, so that's all I wanted to add on this. I agree with the ejection or the disqualified. Let's not get into that. Let's talk about things we could have done better after. Anybody take it? Besides everyone that's been somebody new.
Dwayne?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have sent the players to their benches, and we would have gotten together at center court and talked about all of this just to calm myself down if I was the calling official. And to make sure that, you know, see if these guys got anything else other than what I had. I totally agree with
Wayne, don't focus on Domingo. Focus on the other two officials to help Domingo.
Right. Again, you know, these players got to get to their benches. Look like they did, but nobody is talking to Domingo. Nobody is giving Domingo anything. Nobody is trying to calm Domingo down and get him away from the situation.
But that's the point Mark was making. Domingos just should have waited.
Yeah.
He's walking across the court giving his signals. Those two aren't going to go to him. Maybe they should have gone to him and stopped him and said, hold on, let's talk about this as a crew. But his emotions and what he was just going to go.
And anyone else new?
Yeah. Well, those two schools, if you've had them before, you already know it's going to be overly competitive and a lot of emotion. You've got to really talk about these two. And as soon as something like that happens, the first thing you do is clear all those players and everybody off, and then you bring everybody back together. Should have never walked towards the table because it was a lot, and you could probably feel the emotion just watching this small clip.
So I got front row right here. Of course, I was at this game. My son goes to Cornerstone. I can tell you that this game, just to your point, Mo, this is a rivalry game. This is obviously private school. These two teams never like each other. The coaches are, you know, very animated. So I don't know their pregame. I can't talk on it, but you have to have really solid pregames talking more about behavior, about coaches, bench decorum, atypical plays, technical fouls, intentional fouls, layer plays. Like that's going to be the bulk of your pregame, especially if you have a J game. They had a JV game before. So two of them worked the JV game. And I've said this on the podcast before, like if you have those JV games and then you have a varsity game right after that, you may have 10 minutes in the locker room to have a pregame. You've got to go over the most. We're not going to be talking about, you know, get into details in our pregame. We don't have an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to go over that. You've got to really be smart and highly productive on that. I don't know if that happened in this pregame, but it's something that someone just mentioned on the chat. Rivalry game, a pregame conversation about these type of things is definite. Now let's get into this. So we all agree that should have slowed down, get kids to benches, all that. Everybody agrees. All right. Now we're talking about coaches. All right. So let's talk about.
I got something.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the assistant coach goes out on the court, which that can't happen. But the good thing is he is trying to get to his player. He's not addressing officials, but he can't do that. Only the head coach can go out and go.
I think both assistant coaches go out on the floor.
Well, no, the guy in white is calling players over, but Lance is actually over there, and he may have said something to the official, but more than likely he probably did.
Nah, he didn't say nothing. I promise you. I promise.
No, I'm talking about right there, the guy in the beard with the. Isn't he an assistant coach?
No, that's the head coach.
That's the assistant.
Here, right? You talking here?
Yeah. Yes.
Assistant. The head coach is here, and
That's what
in
I
the
thought.
purple shirt. 1 and 2 of the head coach. So when can assistant coaches come onto the floor? God, you got a lot of background noise tonight. Mute yourself. When can, who is that? Sorry.
Amen.
Rich. It's Rich. Amen. Yeah, Rich. Please mute yourself if you're not on. I've got a lot of background noise. Amen. We're gonna milk it out. Okay. So I need to send you that Facebook link. All right, so yeah, so we know the head coaches are here and here, but my question is, when can assistant coaches come onto the floor? They changed it. So this will be good for some coaches on here to know when their assistants can come on the floor. Anybody?
They can only come on the floor to assist in a fight.
There we go. Thank you. That's it. So they can come on to, if there's a fight now, the assistant coaches can come on and help with the fight, not come on and start talking to other players and referees and all that stuff. That's different. But now they're able to come on if they're helping, okay? So let's take that rule in this situation, okay? Could you deem this possibly a fight? So that's when we're getting into this, right? When we have that contact, we don't know what's gonna happen. 2, is that a violent act? I think it's extremely excessive. I think it's deserving of flagrant, okay? So now we're getting into, what do you think best fits the game? We understand the rule, like Chris said, that assistant can't come on. But what is the assistant? The assistant helping? Or is he not helping? Now here, it's when it gets kind of, right? I wish he would just walk right back to the bench, but now we're over here. Now he's talking to the other coaches. All right, I was at the game. So now the 2 assistants are getting into it. Now we've got problems. This is not behavior that is acceptable, okay? But we don't catch that. We don't catch that. Too many kids are going on. We got to get kids to benches. We need to come to half court and talk. I don't understand is, why are we shooting free throws when we haven't got everything figured out? Like you'll see, we've got an intentional foul, mechanically incorrect, okay? Then we have issues with coaches going back and forth. You're not the assistant, we're pointing, we're doing that. Again, the anxiety is so high. And then for some reason, this referee's like, you know what? I'm gonna go shoot free throws down the other end. I'm just gonna take the basketball and go. Well, that's not the correct protocol. We don't worry about the basketball. We don't worry about who's shooting, when they're shooting, all that. We don't worry about that. That's gonna be the last thing that we do. We need to go to half court. We need to talk. We need to understand what we're doing, how we're gonna resume play. Then we go to the table. We're gonna go through all of our procedures at the table. We can then talk to the head coaches. Then we'll go and figure out who's shooting the free throws. Again, we go the wrong way. This is why we have to slow down. Just imagine we did shoot free throws at the wrong basket. I've seen it happen before.
Hey, Mark,
all right, now we're
this
going
is
this
Mo.
way. Mo,
This
go
is
ahead.
Mo.
Yep.
Hey, so I guess for the younger officials, we constantly harp as we come up, get everything going, get it back in play. This, like that earlier play, is one of those moments you got to stop. We got to get them to understand you stop and take your time to walk through it. At this point, we don't care how long it takes. We got to get it back under control and know exactly what we're doing.
Hey, one more quick point.
Yep.
You can't shoot free throws until you got a sub in the game.
Yep. Yeah, because he disqualified. Yeah, you're correct. Yep. And it was his 5th foul as well. So we got even though he's ejected, it ended up being his 5th foul as well. So even that, just to even take that, say, Bob, let's say it's not an ejection or a disqualified player, and it's just a technical foul. Well, it's going to be his 5th foul. We got to go through all that too. We got to go through our protocols and what we're supposed to be doing with that as well. So it's a good point. Again, I think the biggest thing is slow down, communicate, understand what we're doing. Don't be in a rush, right? Our anxiety is very high. We need to bring it back down. And this was a hard game to work. I'm not making excuses for these officials. Again, I was at the game. This was a tough game to work. Very physical. And you just got to know what you're going in for. And you got to control the game. You got to run the game. Don't let coaches and kids run the game as far as that. We did beat this up last year. We went over some stuff. Mingo was there. I thought he handled it very well, and he learned a lot from it. And that's all it is, right? These type situations, you never want them to happen in your game. But when they do happen, we got to then know how to figure it out. I remember I talked to an official about how do you handle fights. There's no way to do it unless you get reps. Like, unfortunately, you never want this to happen in your game. But the only way you get better at, adjudicating these plays and getting them right is to happen in your game. And you certainly don't want them to happen, but, that's the only way you're going to get better. Or, also learning from other people. But when it happens, oh, man, it's no fun, okay? Any other final thoughts before we get into the next clip? I know some coaches on there. Any questions, coaches, for us? Okay. All right, let's get into the next one. So this one's a good, yeah, this is a good clip. Hold on. So we talk about this end of quarter situation. So let's just say timeouts, end of quarters, what the players do. This is in the first half, so they're going to cross pass. So this is something that we need to talk about in our pre-games too, right? When players, when the play is dead, we need to be live. We need to be highly focused, off ball, dead ball. I think we're going to have a split decision on this. So I'd like to hear from some new referees on this, what you have on this, if you have nothing or you have something on it, all right? Pay attention to the bench over here, closest to this. This is actually Jen. It was her play. We didn't go over it, but just show it a couple of times. But the action happens right in this bench. Boom, right there. Again, right here, quarter. Okay, and I'll go one more time. Anybody take it? Things we could have done better on it, and what do you have? We have 41 of you on here.
Mark, can you run it again, please?
Sure. Right there in front of the bench, two players, 10 and 14.
Okay. I add a couple of things. Kenny always talks about in pregame being aware, especially in the first half, when teams are crisscrossing each other, because we have a lot of trash talk and a lot of players intentionally trying to bump into each other. It looks like Jen got pinned down real close to the bench there. But another mechanic that they instituted maybe 2 or 3 years ago for us is not for high school, but just something you can just keep in mind. Whenever there's a timeout or end of period, walk toward the benches, toward the teams with the team, the furthest officials away. Say the lead can start walking toward the bench for the for the visiting team, and then the trail there can start walking toward the bench for the home team, just to kind of keep an eye on them crisscrossing there. Just something to help keep an eye on it, just to see if that was intentional or not. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, Mark, but just a thought there.
That's a good point. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. And
Hey,
then,
Mark.
yes, who's that?
Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, I was gonna say basically as this play is going out, when the play is ending right there, because she did end the quarter. I was thinking any action we take after she's already closed the quarter, wouldn't that be after the end of the half? And we would have to, if we did do a bench technical right now, or a double tech, we would have to adjudicate it when we come back out, correct?
Okay, so yeah, good question. All right, so let's say this is the end of the end. Let's say we're going into halftime. Let's just say the second, it's end of first. Let's say it is, okay. And let's say we have a technical foul here. Just say we have a technical foul on black. Let's just say black ran into white, and we have a technical foul. All right. So the question is, we have a technical foul. Are we going to adjudicate those free throws right there and then, or are we going to come out and shoot the free throws to begin the second half? And then how are we going to resume play? Right? Is that your question, Michael? I know you're saying we'll do it when we come out, right? And you're saying we'll do it when we come out. Okay. Somebody touch on that as far as the ruling. Anyone can take it, even Marshall, Reggie, the usual people.
Extension of the quarter.
Do what now, Gene?
It's extension of the quarter.
Okay, so you're saying that we're going to shoot the technical foul there and then?
Yes.
And, okay. Anybody else?
I think you start the second half with a shot of the free throws, and then you give the ball to, you're saying you get the technical on white? Or
we gave it to black. Let's just say we gave it to black. Yeah, we gave the technical foul, so white's going to shoot.
The ball in due to the technical foul, and the possession arrow remains where it's set.
Okay. All right, so we got two. We got one saying that we're going to shoot it there and then we're saying that we're going to start the second half with two shots, no one lined up, The team that offended will not get the basketball, so this would be white would get the ball, but the possession hour would stay where it is.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because I thought the fourth quarter is the only one where
There we
we're
go.
going to finish it in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
The second,
So-
second's over, we're going to carry it over to the third. That is only going to happen in the fourth quarter where we're going to do whatever it is right there.
You're correct. You're correct. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
I was thinking
Technical
fourth
foul occurs
quarter.
after the ball has become dead to end a quarter or extra period. The next quarter or extra period is started by administering the free throws. This applies when the foul occurs after any period is ended, including the fourth quarter, provided there is to be an extra period. If there is no way to determine whether there will be an extra period until the free throws are administered, the free throws are attempted immediately.
Correct.
Okay, good. All right, good
5,
question,
6,
though, Michael.
4.
Yeah, good question. Thanks, Bob. Yep. So that's how we would do it. Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Marshall made a great point too about being so focused on the basketball. Look at the lead official. If something jumps off here and we have a fight or whatever, she would have no clue what's going on. She's ready to bounce the ball out here to the trail. Trail's throwing her whistle inside of her shirt. Man, I'm telling you, it's a good technique to just employ to just start walking toward these team benches. Just pregame that just in case.
Yeah, PJ, if I could jump on, thank you, man. Mechanically, we keep saying it. When the ball is dead, our antennas are supposed to go up. What's happening is the ball is dead, the quarter's over, we relax. And that's what happened on this play. PJ is also correct. I don't know if they put in ice, but at the end of the quarter, we are told that you are supposed to watch players crossing each other. So I know she's a great person and all that good stuff, but knowing those players are going to cross each other, like I said, the antenna went down, we got relaxed. And to tell you the truth, I don't even know if she really, because it's film, I can't really tell, but it wasn't like she bumped her on purpose. But seeing these players coming in white there, your antenna has to, I hate doing this because I hate, the antenna has to go up whenever the ball is there. And that's just the story with this play. We can't relax. And it's hard. It's just like you're supposed to wait till the ball gets to the free throw line extended before we go on the court. It's easier said than done. So I really understand why it happened, but they're trying to give us the tools to fix these type of items. Because this is when this trash talking occurs. We don't know if they're talking right now. And maybe she does come bumper. But if we're there and show a presence, we can stop this, possibly. But you never know how something's going to happen unless you're there. So
Yeah, agree. And we know just from listening to Jen, she would be on her butt about this. I know she'd be upset with herself because you can see she's looking across, and when a bump comes in, she turns her head. So she obviously catches the tail end. She doesn't know what happens. So yeah, I think she would be upset with herself. Mike Daniels made a good point. There is a lot of players over here. I mean, there's close to everybody, almost 8, 9 players over here. So if something was to pop off, man, that would be tough for this referee to adjudicate that. So to add into everybody's point, we need to start closing, coming over, and assisting on that. So yeah, good clip.
All right, let's go to rules real quick. Say we give a double technical.
Yep.
We whack them both, give a double technical. How do you adjudicate it, and what is the ultimate consequence of it?
That's a good question because from what I understand in the casebook play 10-5-1 situation B, because we're in halftime now, that player is considered to be bench personnel, and as a result, that now is also an indirect to the head coach.
That's correct.
So therefore, what about the head coach?
Well, they both gotta sit, right? If you're doing double.
They both got seatbelt rules now.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a good catch, Mark. And I want to add as well, from your previous 2 clips, Mark, the one with Mingo and the one with you and Chris Coy, I didn't think either one of those crews did a good job of team officiating. And when you have a technical foul, you have an intentional foul, you have a flagrant foul, forget that primary stuff. Throw that stuff out the window. Have a triple whistle if you want to. Call whatever. I really like how you came out aggressive and gave that technical foul. And I like how Mingo stayed on top of that crowd, the group coming back and see. But, man, we got to do a better job of team officiating and everyone being engaged.
yeah, I have no problem with Mingo on that play. He did what he felt he could do. We need to be better partners.
I was at that game that Mark and Chris were in and back, and they did have team officiating. They came in right away and discussed it. And they sent all players to their benches. So.
No, John. I'm talking team officiating, meaning that play happened right in front of Chris. It was about five feet away from him, and he had turned his body away from it positioning wise, and his eyes went to look at the shooter. And when he went to look at the shooter, he blocked his vision off of what was really happening to his right-hand side. By the time he switched his head over to the right-hand side, he missed the whole play. So I rather had a double whistle or a triple whistle coming in from Mac. Everybody just blow, and you got to get something on that because that kid got slung down pretty hard on that play. So that's what I mean by team officiating. I'm not talking about they came together and talked about it. I'm talking about when the action is actually happening.
Mark, may I?
Go ahead, Mike.
To the younger officials, as you guys are coming up and you're reffing with veterans, don't be scared to jump in front of a veteran and slow a veteran down because you don't want to step on toes or come. There's no such thing. It's called a crew, and it's the dynamics of a crew. So if a situation like we just witnessed happens, you jump in front of that guy, like you stop that freight train because you rather stop that freight train that might snap them out of it, you know? And that's the best thing to happen. When you hear this term, communication, that's communication. You stop that veteran, you stop your official, hey, what we got? And there's nothing wrong with that. Y'all can talk about it later in the locker room, but you jump in front of it. Do not ever feel because you're the younger official, don't ever feel that. It's a crew and it's a dynamic. If you're in that game, that means you're in that game for a reason. No one person's above the crew. So younger officials, don't ever forget that.
That should be part of your pregame.
Okay, good. All right. All right, this one. So this is our game up in Houston. Okay, so we look at the score, 52-4. I've talked to a few people about this. I've even talked to the calling official about it. Like your opinions on this one. All right. So we're 52-49. I'll give you the context after, but let's just go through it and let me know what y'all have on this. So we end up having a foul and a technical foul, okay? Just so you know. So a foul here. And kid runs off, boom, technical, okay? Go again. Hopefully it's not too blurry. I can't go stop on this one frame by frame because I don't have this on my QuickTime Player. This is on YouTube. Okay, anybody? So whack, technical foul. We got foul and technical foul, same kid.
What's the technical foul for?
So the technical foul is for him running away. So the foul, he's upset and he see how he runs off.
That's a technical foul. Did he say anything to the official?
No, he just was upset with the call and ran off.
Okay.
So just curious what people have on this one, okay?
Well, that's a tough look for Lee. The action happens on the other side through the paint. So that kid, he has no right to do that, but maybe he has a reason he did that because you didn't have a whistle. That's you and C?
Correct.
So you're saying that it's not a foul or you didn't think it was a foul?
I didn't have nothing on it. So I'm not saying it's not a foul. No, from my angle, I had nothing on it.
Right. For him to see that, that's through a lot of players.
And also the player agree with you, Mark, as far as like you to see. You step down and look through. I'm sorry, Marshall. And then
that's exactly what I was getting at.
Like, yeah, it's a human element, man. He's like, God damn, you gonna give me a foul? What the hell? He's running off. I mean, it's just human, man.
But he can't run down the court because you're showing the referee up. Right, wrong, and different.
Well, the referee should have made the right call. The referee messed up, so the player's like, man, I got my fifth foul. I'm fouling out. Let me get out of here.
Sorry, that doesn't give him the right to act the way he did.
Exactly. Check out that technical.
Oh, a technical for running away? Okay.
Yeah, doesn't give him the right to act that way.
Well, PJ, you let him get away with it. How many others are going to want to get away with it also?
How about letting your co-official make the call on his side of the paint there?
PJ, it's unsportsmanlike conduct. It doesn't matter.
Okay. All right, I got it.
Look at you, yanked your shirt tail out. Would you give him a technical?
All right, I got it.
Hey PJ, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. So I'll talk later because I was in the game. I'm with PJ. But y'all go ahead. I knew this would happen. We're gonna have some different ones. That's why I wanted to close on this one.
Can I go back? All right, we're on the road. We're out of town. All those dynamics. Him running away is showing up the referees. Okay, plain and simple. Whether the call is right or wrong, he has no right to run off. If you made that mistake, PJ, that Jared did or whatever, I don't think any of us would like a player running off like that, and it's disrespectful to the game and to the officials. So now maybe there will be a conversation between Jared and Mark and Malcolm after this, but his act on the floor warranted a technical foul in my opinion.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, PJ, I don't think you would have allowed, even if it was anybody else in your crew that had made that call, if that player was on your court, you would have called that technical.
You're probably right.
or at the least address him. You got to do something. You just can't let him run off.
How are you gonna just address him? He's already at the other end of the court.
No. Aaron, slow down. I'm with teching him, but I'm saying we can't act as though, oh well, he has the right to do this because we made a bad call. If that's the case, I got the right to do stuff when they make bad plays. I'm just saying, just teasing. The tech is warranted.
Tech is warranted. I don't agree with the foul, but the tech is warranted.
Yes, that's where I'm at.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
I got a question for everybody. Since you were in the game, I wanted to ask, was this player doing this typically throughout the game because of the same players' calls, or was that the first time?
First time. So I'll give you my feedback on this because I was in the game, okay? So and y'all can beat me up all you want. I'm just going to be honest, all right? It didn't fit the game at all. Just didn't fit, all right? This is a reach. And again, I'm just talking. I'm not making excuses for us, all right? And you may say every game is the same, but the magnitude is winner goes to the state finals. This is a regional 6A finals game. The winner is going to the Alamo Dome, all right? To me, that makes a difference. That's just my personal opinion. That the magnitude of this game is extremely high. The score is 52-49, and we have 3 minutes left in the ball game, okay? 3 minutes left. They're down 3. Well, we have a shooting foul, we have a technical foul, and the ball back. The worst thing could happen. I can tell you, I'm in the game. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh boy. Makes both free throws. The technical foul makes both free throws. Then they come in, they bang a 3. We went from a 3-point game to a 10-point game with no time off the clock. The ball game is pretty much done. Okay. Now they did climb back, ended up losing by 5 or 6, I believe. This was a massive, massive play in the game. And for y'all that know Mac, you better believe it. We had a post game that lasted almost 30, 45 minutes in that locker room, okay? It was a rough pregame. We got out of it. We got better. We went to dinner on the way home. We did all that, but it got pretty ugly. I was just like sitting there and they were going at it. So to me, it didn't fit. I agree the behavior is not warranted. However, I honestly believe, this is how I look at the play. The kid is running towards Mac. We know Mac, okay? We know that he's not going to let that kid do that. You know, Mac's immediately going to grab that kid, stop, and he's going to address it, okay? To me, if I'm at there and I know that he's running away towards somebody like that, I trust Mac. I trust him that he's going to take care of that. And if not, then I will take care of it later at some point, and it has to be addressed. I agree 100%. It has to be addressed. But I also believe the time of the game, the score of the game, the magnitude of the game, I think we could have got away with addressing that individual. And I think that would have fit the game better. And I believe it's a judgment call. Now, you can say that he was showing up. To me, he's running away. He's not running at the referee. He's not putting his arms up and embarrassing. He's upset. He's emotional. It's a 3-point game. The winner goes to the state final. I think that kid can be emotional. I don't think he's showing the referee. This is just my opinion. I don't think he's showing anybody up. Of course, he's upset with the call. And we agree the call is not a good call. It's a missed call. And I think out of bounds would have been better. But okay, he's emotional. These are young kids. They're emotional. To me, I think it would have fit if we had just addressed it. And if that happened throughout the game, to Michael's point, and he's been a problem player, then it's absolutely stick the kid. Then you can obviously you probably talk to the kid before, you've talked to the coach, you've had some layered things coming up to that. We had no problems with this kid. Also, obviously, the kid fouled out on this play. He fouled out on the technical foul. His 4th foul was his personal. The technical foul was his 5th. He's done. So that's just my personal opinion. Anybody, you're more than welcome to chime in. And
the video back, but it looks like Malcolm's talking to the coach, and the player runs right by his
he
back.
He was talking to the coach. He was.
So
and
how did he? Did he say he saw it?
No. We
Did
talked
Malcolm
about it.
open
So
up?
Max said he was talking to the coach. He saw the kid run right by. He wanted to deal with the coach, and then he was going to go talk to the kid, or he was going to have Jared take care of it. But we did talk about it. He was dealing with the coach on something else. That's another story, Marshall. That's where they got into it with all that stuff.
Optics, and then I know you've defended the player, and I understand why. But flip it to the other side, to the coach, who is not benefiting from what we're calling, air quotes, a action that possibly is showing up the referees. How do you explain to him that that's not a technical foul?
Yeah, but see, my thing is if it was so obvious, arms up, running at the referee, I think it's different. To me, I don't see any of that. I just see a kid running away. So I think you can tell a coach, hey, coach, like I personally would say, I'm not saying right or wrong, is I would do the same thing for you. Coach, we got a 3-point ball game. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit right now, okay? I don't think he was showing us up. I would do the same thing for you. That's what I would tell the coach.
Yeah, I wouldn't use doesn't fit, but I would say he did not do anything to warrant a technical foul. Talking basketball terms,
Well,
leave it like that.
Yeah, but I understand that, but everybody's saying that what he did warranted a technical foul.
I think he did, yeah.
Right, so if I tell a coach,
when you run from one end of the court to the other end of the court and disagree with a foul call.
He didn't run to the other side of the court.
Oh, so you're saying he stopped?
He stopped at the 3-point line. Right around, he didn't run to the other side. Now, if he runs from one side to the other side, that's different. He ran past the bench.
Run it one more time?
Sure.
And I mean, I'm cool with Shaw's game, so y'all know what was best for the game, so I defer on that. But I'm telling you, he ain't stop at the 3-point line because Mac is at the 3-point line.
Mark,
Yeah, but he
ran 70 feet instead of 90 feet.
I'm just telling you what I felt fit the game better. That's all I'm telling you, okay?
Right.
In the rule book, does it say showing up an official? Because it says unsportsmanlike conduct, and I deem that unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well,
Okay, that's your key word. You deemed it that.
Disrespectfully addressing or contacting an official or gesturing in such a manner as to indicate resentment toward an official.
All those words come down to judgment, because I've been in games where I might have called it and they say, well, I don't know if that really constituted that, but from what I saw, that's what I called it. So that's what we get into when we have those conversations at the end, and what made me think of, I called that.
Yeah, Mo, that's a very good point, because we all have different tolerances for behavior, and you're right. So there really is not, in that situation, it's not an absolute. He was kind of streaking for me. So for me, you know me, I'm probably getting him, right? But I'm okay if someone else doesn't. That's on them. But it's a level of tolerance. You're right.
You're absolutely right, Kenny. Mo, it's judgment.
Hey, Mark, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, PJ.
So I do agree with Aaron, man. I mean, just by the book, it is what it is. You can look at it on film and pull it out and say what it is. So I agree. But at the same time, I'll try to use some other tools, thinking of the magnitude of this particular game, like you said. I mean, some other tools I've used is go to the captain. Hey, man, can you talk to number 4? Because if he does that again, we're going to have to penalize him. Go to the assistant coach and ask for help or something like that, instead of just injecting ourselves in this game and giving him his 4th and 5th foul or whatever.
But we're in the 4th quarter, PJ.
Right. I'm not giving that technical on that particular play, knowing that I made a mistake as well, Marshall. I made a mistake. I made a bad call. I'm the lead. I'm putting myself there as the lead. I made that terrible call. Now I got to live with it, and let's get the ball in play and do what we have to do real quick.
You hit the head on.
You bring up a good point, PJ.
But do you think he feels it's a bad call at the time?
Get the other part of it.
He felt it was.
I think we all have at one point or another just made a decision on whether that's a technical or not. I mean, it comes down to that, like everybody's saying. I think we're just beating a dead horse
Yeah, but if you make that call, you better not go talk to captain. You need to go talk to coach and let the coach address it, or talk to that player directly. And don't go to another player, because don't put that on the player, because you don't want that to repeat with 30 seconds left, and now you have to handle it, and it could escalate to something further, and you have no choice.
Okay, I have a question, because we do have a few coaches on here. So I'd like to hear from a coach on if that's your player, do you deem that to be a technical foul? And let's take it on the flip side. If that wasn't your player, would you be telling referees, hey, why are you not giving that kid a technical foul? They ran up to the half court or 70 feet, whatever it is that we're getting into.
Mark, this is Huey from Clark.
Hey.
I would say it's a warning. I mean, I think, and I could be wrong, but a lot of things can be very subjective. And I'm hearing both sides of what you guys. I only in this clip. I don't think that it's a matter of the player trying to one up the ref. I think it's an impulse reaction, and he's probably trying to run away from the situation to prevent himself from doing something worse. So given that, I would say that it's a warning, and then you go to the coach and you talk to the coach and make it very clear that it was a warning, because regardless of whether or not, it's fourth quarter and there's 3 minutes left or whatever, I mean, obviously in that situation, that's very unfortunate that took him out of the game. But I think at most it's a warning. I don't think there's enough. We know our players, but and I can say I've had a handful of players who probably would try to one up the ref, right? But I don't think that there's enough evidence there to dictate whether or not it's an automatic warrant of a technical.
Okay, thanks, coach. Yeah, I just look at it, for one, playing a lot and those type things, is that there's a lot of emotion in the game, and I don't look at that. I don't look at that play, and this is me personally, right? Even if it wasn't my game, I'm not saying it trying to be defensive, right? Just that I don't see I see a kid just running away, right? That's what I look at it. I look at a kid running away, that he's upset with the call, but he's running, to coach's point, running away from the situation. He's not hurting the situation. He's not bringing like other kids in and stuff like that. If he's running towards a referee or doing that, I see it. That's just my personal opinion. So I think the emotion of the game, we have to somehow understand. I'm not making excuses for the kid, you know what I mean? But I just think the magnitude of emotions in it plays a part in our decision making.
Can I add one thing, Mark? And I respect everything you said.
Yeah.
Whether the call was right or wrong has nothing to do with whether we're going to give a tech or not. Okay, those are two isolated incidents, and we have to deal with it in that way. So there's been many times when we disagree with our co-official and we agree with the player. We may not say that, but we do. But the way, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, that's different than what we're going to do about the taunting. What Jared did on the call has nothing to do with whether we should tech the player or warn the player or not.
Agreed.
We're isolating on what his behavior was. And I will just use this analogy, and I may be wrong. If I'm in a gym class and one of the students doesn't like what you did or whatever, and they run from one end to the other end, not running at you, do we not deal with that student, or we just ignore it and say he's emotional?
If you gave him a 69 and it was a 70 to make him graduate.
That's where I'm going.
Hey, you gonna make him repeat his senior year?
Hey, brother. Nice try, Mark. But no.
I wouldn't flunk the kid over 1 point. You know you wouldn't.
I'm just saying, man.
Yeah, no, I know.
Hey,
Mark.
You should give yourself up too, man. On that. I mean,
Hey, Mark. This is Coach Frost. I'm girls' comfort coach. First of all, Coach Huey invited me into this a couple weeks back, and I just want to say thanks for that. I was her assistant a couple years. I'm totally on board with her. This is not a technical foul situation at all. To me, I've watched, I'm listening to everybody on both sides, and to me, that kid's just trying to diffuse his own reaction, I think. He's trying to withdraw from the confrontation, if you want to call it a confrontation with the official. I don't think this kid is trying to show up an official. I don't think he's being disrespectful. I don't go with the gym class analogy, because the gym class analogy, you have the instructor trying to, give the kid something or guide the kid or tell him whatever. This is a situation, someone who's supposed to be mediating and, no sense of, one side, the other kind of thing, calls a foul. Kid didn't like it. If you were going to call a technical, it should have been right on the throwing up the hands if you thought that was enough. But running away, I think the kid is just trying to diffuse it himself.
Okay, thanks, Coach. I appreciate your input.
Hey, Mark, I want to throw one last tip. I mentioned it before, and Aaron disagreed, but it's okay. But I'm telling you, if you go to the captains, you go to a teammate and let them talk to their teammates, in my opinion, over the years of officiating, it has more weight than it does that coach.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If my teammate comes to me and tell me, knock it off, I'm telling you, man, it works.
Absolutely. To agree 100%. Yeah, because sometimes the coach is always on them, right? All the time. It's like, okay, I'm just listening to my coach again. They're yelling at me, whatever. But yeah, a teammate or a captain, someone you look up to, a leader, a senior, a kid that's been with the program, absolutely. I agree with that. And that's why those kids are captains for a reason, to take care of those situations. I agree. We're going to have to close it, though. This is great.
Can I say one thing, Mark?
Sure.
Time out, PJ. I do that too, but not.
At the least, we all agree it has to be addressed.
Oh, time out. Hold on.
Totally agree.
I do that all the time too, but not when we're about to go to state and when it's a 3-point game and when we got this type of situation. In this situation, I'm going to the coach and letting the coach handle it.
Okay, I think either way, like to Marshall's point, it's got to be addressed, right? If we're not going technical foul, got to be addressed. You got to go coach, captain, whatever works for you. I think PJ's point was just saying that sometimes going to a player can be more effective than going to coach. But we know some coaches. If a coach says one thing to them and they're gonna fix it, then absolutely you go to them. We know our coaches in San Antonio. If you go, hey coach, I'm having a problem. Which one? Mark, you tell me which one. I'll take care of it. We know we have a lot of coaches that do for that. So yeah, I totally agree. I think either way, Marshall, you knocked it on the head. It's got to be addressed. We don't go technical foul. Has to be addressed. We could go all night. This is what we're doing next Zoom. We're going to continue going on this. I think we need another week. This is great. This is why we need to continue talking about this. Amen. This is the most conversation we get because we got judgments, we've got inconsistencies, we've got all this type of stuff. So next Tuesday, I'll find some more plays. Let's continue to talk about atypical plays, taunting plays, all that. It's been great. So thank you for joining. This is
unmute, say amen.
Amen.
Good night. Good night, y'all.
Great job, Mark. Great job, Mark.
All right.